I'm here with the Kling of all Klings, Jeramie Kling.
Hello.
The one and only, and it's always nice to see you when you come to Toronto.
It's good to see you.
Today, under some different circumstances, you're here with Overkill on this incredible King Diamond tour.
Yep.
And last time you were in town, we were talking about drumming, we were talking about Slipknot.
Yep.
You didn't get that gig, but I think you got a pretty good one.
I got a sweet one.
So
the right man got the job. That's all I'm saying.
And you called it.
Yeah.
You called it.
I knew it was going to be him. I think we all did, but
I think everybody kind of had a feeling.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of chairs there being rotated around, like
the
musical chairs.
The S changes, so you got suicidal tendencies, Slipknot, and
Sepultura.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of switched it around. But you're here with Overkill, and before we talk about some other stuff that has nothing to do with Overkill, let me just ask you how the tour's been going so far.
Incredible. We've been playing these halls and theaters, which have been seated, which is a little awkward for thrash metal, but it's great for King Diamond because it's theatrical and all that stuff. But we've been in some amazing places that metal bands have never been because we don't normally play seated places, so you would have no reason to be ever at Mahaffey Theater in St. Pete, which is right next to the Dolly Museum, which is kind of crazy. Next door, I mean, it's like in the same parking lot. So I played there, and everyone was like, it was cool, but we were all seated. It was sort of like a dinner theater, but they were, of course, everybody stood up, and they were.
Today you're at a casino?
Yeah, today we're at a casino with a horse track, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything on this tour for you guys.
Yeah.
This is not your first tour with Overkill, but this is your first time in North America touring with Overkill.
Right.
How you been adapting to their style, to their sound? Very different from what you were doing before.
Very different. It's been cool, I mean, I still play like me, no matter what, that comes through, but, it's just a different avenue, and it actually pushed my drumming to, especially like playing the Jason Bittner songs. He's a very outside of the box drummer, so learning his parts was like interesting for me. And I even told him, I saw him a couple days ago in Albany, and was like, man, this part's so crazy. I would have never done this, and so it's kind of cool. It's good.
How much freedom do you have to add a few of your own little spices to the mix?
They really probably would accept it, but I've kept it as true to it as I can. But I mean, again, at the end of the day, I play like me, so I mean, let's say how I push a D beat is how I push a D beat. It's not like Rat Skates, it's not like Abaddon, it's not like any of those guys. It's how I do it. So it ends up sounding like that. Like I just saw Simon in Montreal last night. He was like, great show, I loved it. It was cool hearing Overkill with you playing. He's like, you have a style. He's like, I could pick it out like no problem, because I mean he had to learn all this stuff for the Inhuman Condition stuff. So he's like very intimate with like how I play, like let's say a D beat, and he was like, I could hear it in there, like how you're like dragging and pushing, and I'm like, well, so it's been cool. These guys are great though. I mean, I toured with Overkill as a crew member like 13, 14 years ago. I used to drum tech for Ron, and we all got along really great, so it was pretty cool. So here we are.
Are you at that stage in your career where you have to leave some of the other stuff that you were doing behind and you just have to move forward? Is that where you feel like you're currently in?
I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I'm going to take a bit of a break. I'm going to see how next year goes, because I've toured at least 7 months out of the year for the past 3 or 4 years. So I'm kind of like, that's a lot. That's a lot of time to be away. So I'm going to pull the reins back just a little bit and kind of sit home a bit, so focus on music.
So last time I saw you, we were talking about the whole Slipknot thing, but the other thing that was on the back burner at that time, well, not on the back burner, you had announced that you had left Venom Inc.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit one of the reasons why the whole rumor had started that you were possible in line for that Slipknot job. You end up coming here, but the fact that you left Venom Inc. is still, I feel like there's still a little bit of in the air in terms of what surrounded that whole exit. We didn't dive into that last time, but I feel like maybe now it's a good time to dive into it.
So I did the U.S. tour, and we had Mike Hickey out there playing with us in replace of Mantis, which was great because Mike's a fantastic guitar player, and he had a little bit of a history in Venom. Like a little bit. I mean, he had a good amount of years of history. So Mike Hickey was out there playing, and we were going along, and I know that Jeff is not coming back, so Mantis is no longer going to play any more shows. And I just saw like how it was going to play out, that Jeff wasn't going to be there anymore. And I really started feeling like I was just in a cover band. And it was like, I was up there just kind of like pantomiming stuff. I mean, what made Venom Inc. to me was Jeff Mantis. Was it really just, he was it. He was the reason that we were all there. I mean, I said it to him for years, and he was even saying it. He's like, I know if I don't show up, it makes it like, kind of like less of what it is. And so we were playing all the classics, and like we had a few Venom Inc. songs that we played in there, 3 or 4, some stuff from the new record. But if we were pressed for time, we only cut those songs. We always kept the classics, and it wasn't even stuff that like even Tony or Mike Hickey were a part of. It was just like only play the classics. So I felt like I was in a cover band, and I'm like, is this really where I want to like reside for the next X amount of years? I mean, it was like kind of a weird place for me to be in. I was like, I just don't know that. And that coupled with some other stuff like internal workings and like how the band operated, it was like enough for me to go, in the spirit of all of it, it was a great run. I met amazing people out there. I met, I was around people who were crying in Chile because they never thought they would see Venom, right? So, I mean, grown men that were just like in tears and were like thankful. And for those moments, I'll forever be thankful. But for me, it was like, I need to move on. I need to move on, and let's see where it goes. Let's see where the road takes us. So here we are.
So when you made that decision, you didn't have anything else lined up. It was just a decision that was purely based on how you felt at the time and feeling like this is not necessarily what I signed up for, but it's not necessarily a representation of what I want to be doing.
Right. Because, again, like I said, it felt like I was in a cover band, because it kind of was.
At that point, it kind of is.
And they were talking about more touring next year, and Jeff wasn't going to be a part of any of that, which, I mean, we can see now, like, they're out on the road, they're playing, and Jeff hasn't played any shows. In the year that I've been gone, he hasn't done one. So I knew that was coming anyways. So for me, it wasn't for me. So.
And you made the right decision at the end of the day. I feel like that's the end of it is you made the right decision.
And to answer you, I had no backup plan. There was no like, cool, it doesn't matter, I got this lined up. I had nothing lined up.
Well, is that a little bit scary when you feel like, on one hand, this is the right decision because I'm not happy here, I don't see a future here, so I do have to do something, but on the other hand, you have nowhere else to fall back on, so is that a scary moment for you?
Yeah, of course. To say no would be a bit of a lie, but I mean, the right thing to do is not necessarily the easy thing to do. My wife has taught me that. She's a brilliant person and a very forward thinker, and the right thing to do was the scary thing. And I was like, okay, well, this is it. Here we are. And then the Slipknot rumor thing happened and kind of like washed all that away anyway, so that was funny.
I'm sure you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was a good time, but it all worked out. Everything all worked out the way it was supposed to be. So I kind of like don't fear anything of like, what's this decision gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. It's all, there's so much serendipity. Like, here, check this out. Facebook just let me know this. 11 years ago, today, I was in Toronto with Overkill. 11 years ago today.
But not playing drums.
Not playing drums. No, but I was here 11 years ago, like bang on the nose on the day. I was here, like, how friggin' weird is that? I'm like, okay.
That's probably the last time they've been in town.
Yeah, well, I think that they did Heavy Montreal like 9 years ago, but other than that, I don't think they've been into Toronto in 11 years.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Long time. So now, once you made that decision, you obviously announced it to the guys. I mean, everything came out in the public once you made the final decision.
Yep.
How was the feedback? Did you get some hate for it, or was everything smooth?
No hate. I mean, well, from the guys, I haven't talked to them too much. Just Jeff a little bit. Jeff actually reached out to me whenever I got the Overkill gig, and he was like, "Hey, congrats! I'm happy for you. Good for you," which is really cool, because Jeff's a great guy. If anybody knows Mantis or has met him, he's an amazing person. He's salt of the earth, you could say. But anyways, it was that's about it. I haven't talked too much to Tony, but it's all right. I've seen him at some festivals this summer with Deicide, and it was some highs. I did see the new drummer, Mark, and I saw Curran, who is who's Mantis's replacement. He was actually a tech for us on that tour we were on. He's a great guitar player, and I saw those guys, and everything was cordial, so it was cool. There's no fighting back.
There's no beef.
No beef at all. So if that's the headline, that can make it in the headline, you know.
There's no beef between them.
No, none at all.
And that's always a good thing, because at the end of the day, it's a really small world. Everybody sees each other. Everybody works with one another. You guys going to cross paths at some point in time. So I think it's better to leave on a positive note, just making your own personal decision that this wasn't for me.
Like Bittner came out to the Albany gig, so we just, on an off date from the King Diamond Tour, we headlined in Albany at Empire. And that's just right down the road from Bittner. And actually, Dave, guitar player from Overkill, had shipped something to his house, and then Bittner brought it in. He was hanging out at Soundcheck and then hanging out at the show, and it's all good, you know, because this community is tiny.
Super tiny.
Everybody knows everybody, and if something happens or something goes on, it's like, it can be awkward, you know, because we see each other everywhere. I mean...
Yeah, and then also the word gets around, and it's just not a positive thing all around.
No. And I try to steer clear of all that shit, because I'm not in music for drama, money, any of that shit. I'm here because I just love music. I have it in me. And if to say that I would want any kind of like poisonous room, no thanks, it's not worth it. Even if something's like too negative for me, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't even want to go around it. I'm like, nope, I'm all right.
If you were in music for money, you're definitely in the wrong genre.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, some people can have some success, but you know, it's not the by and large like bigger number of people.
So the basically what you're saying is we're not going to see you as the drummer for Justin Timberlake on his next tour.
Oh, I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat. Hell yeah.
Would you?
Hell yeah.
Seriously?
I like JT stuff. I don't mind pop at all. I like pop's cool. And I wouldn't even think it would be like I'm being soulless or whatever, or not like not metal. I don't think I even have to prove that I'm metal. Like it's like sorted. Like I have like years of it. Like but I would go do that just as a musician. That sounds like fun, you know.
Because I saw years ago, I saw Nuno Betancourt play guitar for Rihanna when Rihanna was on tour. That's kind of the reason I went, because I never got to see them with Extreme, so I went there to see him play, and I was like, wow, the paycheck must be really worth it for him to kind of like dumb it down to that level. So
yeah, but I mean, also there's a sense of musicality there, and like especially with like someone with like you just said, JT, like that dude, some of his music has great groove, and some of it, like as a drumming standpoint, that could be fun, you know. I mean, that could be fun to do. Maybe it's not like, maybe I'm not playing 220 for an hour, but so what? Do I have to do that to say that I'm a drummer or I'm a musician? Is that it? It's 250 blast beats or nothing? Like I don't know. I don't agree with that, but you know, some people only like that stuff and they only can see themselves doing that, but I consider myself much more of a musician, and I'm like, I don't know, it's fun, you know. That's why people play covers. There's like how many metal guys do you know that are in like cover bands? And it might be top 40 cover bands, like maybe contemporary or, you know, what, like even say 80s, you know, top 40. There's plenty of guys who go out and play regularly. Like Ron from the drummer who used to play in Overkill, he's in a Bon Jovi cover band.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he doesn't, I don't think he like needs to play for money. He has like another job that pays him well, so he just goes and does that because he likes to play and it's fun, you know. And Bon Jovi was, you know, Justin Timberlake of his time.
Yeah.
So, what's the difference?
Yeah, you kind of have a point there. Actually, now I've seen both. I took my wife to see both Bon Jovi and Justin Timberlake. So
okay, cool. How was the JT show? Was it good?
The production was something that I've never seen in my life before.
So how much fun would that be to be a drummer and like have all that production going around? It would be incredible. Or any musician, you could be like a guitar player.
He also has a guitar player, part of his band. But the production is some like out of this world kind of stuff. It's not the stuff that you see at a metal show for sure, because the level of money that they have in order to put a production like that together is phenomenal. And so from a musicality standpoint, the band that he has with him, they're really good at what they do. Yeah, they're really good at what they do.
I know that John Blackwell used to play drums for him, but he's passed, of course. But John was an incredible drummer. He played with Prince. He played with lots of people, but great drummer. Yeah.
Maybe one day, this guy will be touring with Justin Timberlake. You never know.
Hey, we'll see.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. 11 years ago, I was right here in the same city. So
teching.
Here we are.
So now he's playing drums. Look, see, dreams do come true.
They do.
Jeramie, thank you very much for your time, man. Always a pleasure. Once again, the Kling of all Klings is right here with me. Go check them out on the road with Overkill, King Diamond, and I'll see you all at the next one.
Take care.